Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of How Did We Get Here? I'm your host, Jay Carter, and the man that is always heard and never, ever will be seen, Skeens.
Yeah.
Y'all kind of forgot some of the intro.
But it's all good, baby. We spike. We spike.
Better than your average is the channel in the movement. How do we get here is the show. We got two cousins that are like brothers talking any and everything in the process. How did we get here? Man, y'all need to welcome us back, man. Y'all missed us. It's been a minute. It's been a minute of a minute of a minute of a minute. It's been so much of a minute. Let's go again. You know what I'm saying? Go tell a friend. Jay and Skeens is back. Back like we left something, but not so early. Let me get your AKAs off. AK the background killer.
See,
AKA Osama Wear.
yes, I.
AKA the Wizard of Oz.
Him be me.
AKA What's up, y'all?
Today only. AKA Pimp C Revenge.
Okay, all right, we'll take that. I ain't gonna remember that, but
No, this is a limited special.
Limited edition, baby. What's up, y'all? How y'all been, man? We've been cooling, man. We good. Everything is good, man. We just family first. Took a little hiatus. Well, my praise the Lord. My family moved back into town. Moms, pops, baby sisters. They were in my space. You know, my space to record this is the living room, so it's always occupied. I could have made space to do it, but it was just trying to cooling. Me and Schemes were still having the same conversations behind the scenes and whatnot. Got a lot of a lot that's been going on. And we just want to come back, man, and start putting out the pod, man. Start putting out the content. I told a lot of y'all to be on standby because we do want to get those interviews off. I met a dope brother the other day, just yesterday, named Troy. Great story, y'all. Yep, it's gonna floor you. Also got some plans to sit down with a few of the brothers and sisters, you know, that we came up with. Want to sit down with the uncles and aunties that, in the family as well, and kind of document and get that on, get that down, get it on film so that other people can see it later on, man. But we good, y'all. We missed y'all for real, man. Schemes would come to me sometime like, man, we might need to film, boy, because I'm ready to snap. We're ready to go off. But
good thing we didn't film. I would have got canceled a few times though. But yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, man, it feels good, man. Everything is working good. Studio, all of our stuff is working perfect like a charm. So another one last one, man. One last one, man. How did we get here, baby? How did we get here? So speaking of which, we've been wanting to talk about this topic, and I thought to myself that maybe we missed the window in the podcast gods dropped in our lap. Ja Morant. Ja Morant.
Ja Wick.
Yeah, Ja Wick. Here's the thing. Let me start by saying this. What we have to say, there will be some critique in it, but it's a critique to build. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a critique to tear down. You know what I'm saying? But for those that have been, sports fans, or if you've been under a rock, Ja Morant is a up and coming star in the NBA, plays for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he's one of those generational type talents. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to make him the face of the league on that type of situation and all those kinds of things. And literally we're rolling out the NBA, the Nike red carpet, the who else did he have brand deal with? Gatorade, Powerade, excuse me. So I mean, and for all intents and purposes, what we saw is, as far as basketball fans, he has what we call that dog in him. He's not a super tall as far as NBA tall, will go to the rack, had a lot of hustle to him. Plays with that type of charisma that, just draws in a lot of people. and comes from a solid family, from everything that we understand. Came from a solid background until
5 minutes later.
5 minutes later. And he had an issue with a gun. And Skeens is the GM. He's the sports guy, but he had an issue with a gun, and then these other stories came back from before.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could go on the timeline, Skeens, so they were on the road.
Well, the first story that came out. Well, when it comes to the guns, they was in Denver.
Yep.
At a alleged gentleman club.
Yes. With the lovely ladies that they were trying to put through college and medical school.
Enjoying themselves, listening to some NBA YoungBoy. And all of a sudden, this young man brandishes a gun on IG Live.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, the league sit him down, talk to him a little bit, said, hey, messing up the brand. We're investing a lot of money into you to make you the next face. Nike just scrapped the Kyrie and gave you his shoes because basically it's the same shoe. And he said it was mental health issues, and he sit down for 8 games. They didn't really suspend him. He sit down and
allegedly he went to
it was a pit stop
counseling or something like that.
Said he was going to check in. It was like In-N-Out Burger. He was out in a couple days.
Yeah.
And he said he learned his lesson. He gave us that great and wonderful speech about, accountability and all the things that he's learned. And then 5 minutes later,
he's
back on IG.
Yeah.
With his homeboy.
Listening to
NBA YoungBoy. Just because you're in the NBA.
Right. Right.
I know there's some parallels.
Right.
And his homeboy saw him for some odd reason want to flash the gun. His homeboy tried to move the camera quick.
He did.
He tried like he was reading comments. And the commissioner right now is pulling up additional evidence. Looked like he's gonna be suspended for a minute. Yeah. And
I've seen his maybe 30, maybe more games.
Because with the whole CBA, they have other things, but really, it's for the betterment of the game. And then they have these more morality clauses. But then there are other things that came out when saying that his mom got into it with somebody, one of the employees at Foot Locker. Yep. She called Jai, him and 10 to 15 more people showed up, threatened the guy or whoever the person at Foot Locker, talking about they was going to see him after. The mother got into it with somebody at his sister's volleyball game. Once again, called Jai again. Him and a squad showed up again for another event.
Got into it with the kid at the house.
Yeah, got into it with a high schooler playing basketball. Next thing you know, him and the guy got into it. Jai allegedly beat him up, and then the kid said Jai pulled out a gun again. So Jai has a love for firearms. Now, Second Amendment people, nothing against that.
Not mad at it.
Hey, protect yours.
Yep.
But at the same time, well, before I go on there, let me go on my tangent.
Okay, go on.
For all the idiots out here talking about, hey, Jai, don't let them tell you what to do.
Right.
I want to see any one of you idiots out there do what he did at your job. Go on IG, Facebook, post a gun. You out here, not at the gun store purchasing a gun, not at the fire range, not out going hunting. On IG, flashing guns in traffic. I want to see any one of you that's out here bragging and telling Jai, don't stick it to the man. Do it yourself. And I want to see how long you keep your job.
Well, here's the part where people, and again, y'all, Skeens and I talked about this, and me and Pop, we, all of us talked about this behind the scenes. What people fail to realize, even though he is a multimillionaire basketball player, he is an employee of the National Basketball Association. He is an employee. He's a well-paid one, but he is an employee.
We're all employees.
And at our jobs, I know we have like a social media policy and a clause that we have to sign off on. When I, used to work for Fort Hood Family Housing, start a new gig, y'all too. That's a part of, anyway. But we had a deal where they would check our driving record annually to see how, you know what I'm saying? That was all type of stuff that we had to have checked and be in check to work there.
Even as a business owner, you are an employee.
Yes.
Your employer is your customer.
Is your client, is your customer. Hey, absolutely.
Even Kanye found out.
Right.
You're an employee. Yeah, and as an employee, hey, they can pull the plug on you
at any time.
He lost billions.
Yep.
So in the end of the day, I got to realize they don't really love you, man. They don't. Everyone rocks with you when you're up. When it goes down, no one's there to hold you down.
Right, for sure.
Because if they were, when he got suspended and they took $600,000, how many people was all the folks that was in the comments blogging and saying that we love you and we behind you? How many of y'all had a GoFundMe and throwing $5 and help him recoup that $600,000 that he lost?
Right.
None of you.
Right.
Let's tell the truth.
Yep.
No one was going to, fight the power, but let them take one of your checks.
Right. Indeed.
We laughed at MC Hammer. Well, not me, but for the most part, the culture laughed at Hammer after Hammer tried to employ his community, lost all that money. Then everybody pointing fingers.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of them don't really love you.
No.
They love the fame and the fortune. And when you're up, we see it even with different musical artists. Hey, when you up, everybody wants to be your friend. Look at the baby. One comment, he giving buy one, get one tickets.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, they coupons.
Yeah.
So he went from making $250,000 to $1 million a show to now they show him no one shows up to his shows because at the end of the day, a lot of fair weather fans.
Right. So let's spin the conversation forward some schemes. So it, also the other part of it that I was challenged by y'all is that they kept, and I refer to people too younger than me as kids, as I've ascended to chapter 41 of life. But at the end of the day, he's a grown man. I told Schemes, they're calling him a child, but he's a multimillionaire that has purchased houses, cars, signed contracts, has a daughter. So you a grown up and you have to make grown man decisions. I think the other part of the conversation that I want to have is that it's the detriment of social media and how we feel like we have to put so much stuff about us on social media. Because really, at the end of the day, I'm not condoning him not practicing proper firearm safety. But if he hadn't have put it on social media, nobody would have known.
No.
Number two, we've had this conversation before on this platform, is this idea that hip hop has to have a day of reckoning and understanding that what he's doing really is portraying what is cool and been popularized in hip hop. And some people also want to play the game. Well, he's just waving a gun and having fun, but he's listening to music that is teaching a message that's not about having fun. It's about doing things with those guns. Oh, by the way, he's in Memphis, Tennessee, who has a notoriously high crime rate. And what he's doing is inviting a certain energy and a certain type of people to approach him a certain way.
He's allegedly affiliated with a certain community.
Yeah.
Look at his IG postings. Look at the color scheme that they frequent with, and you'll know the alignment that is he's allegedly has.
Yeah.
But also, 20. You think it's about 24. We got. Don't talk about kids when we send kids to war for us.
Yeah, man. You made that point to me the other day. I was like, man, that's real.
We got 18-year-olds that going to war
because we know. I mean, we live in that community. We see it.
Yes. So don't talk about that. He's a kid when you're volunteering and you want kids to go fight for your freedom.
Right. Not kids then.
Not a kid.
Right.
Taking a life is taking a life.
Yeah.
How many people are when a kid take family members of yours, you're at the trial begging for his forgiveness. Oh, let him go back home because he or she is a kid.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't. Because when it goes down, we won't get back. That's the reason why we have a war within our community, because a lot of the killing are amongst kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So how many parents, and you're not crying tears and saying that, hey, I want justice.
Mm-hmm.
You're not saying you're crying for justice. You ain't crying for that kid to go back home.
No. Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Now, also him flashing the gun, but as you know, even my little brother, when he first started going into his musical endeavors, first thing I told him, you cannot invite that energy if you don't want that.
Right.
You're not about that action.
Right. Yeah.
Now, we come from where we come from.
Yeah.
Just because you come from that doesn't mean that you should invite that energy, because somebody's gonna make you prove it.
Absolutely.
By choice or force.
Yep. Somebody gonna see if you really about it.
Hey, bro. At home, they shot at Tupac back in the day.
Come on, man.
It's well documented.
Mm-hmm.
It goes down.
Yeah.
But you are the energy that you keep, and you are the energy that you invite.
Mm-hmm.
For one. But also, recklessly brandishing a gun. What the gun went off. We've seen many accidents.
Mm-hmm.
Back at home. We talk about accidents.
Mm-hmm.
Kid in Whitehall actually shot his friend the day before graduation by accident. Shot him in the back trying to take his gun apart.
Yeah.
Now, they're younger than Jai. Gun accident goes off.
Yeah.
What he has a gun flashing in traffic. We've seen people get hit from the back in traffic, and the gun goes off.
Yep.
It could have been an easy hit and run. He shot himself or his friend, Cheddar Bob.
Yep.
Not being funny, but these different things happen.
Yeah, it's real life.
So we have to be cognizant of these different activities, and we got to be mindful that, hey, whether you want to or not, you are a role model. And for those that say he's not a role model and I don't want to be a role model, give some of that NBA money that they're marketing.
Give the role model bonus back.
Yes, because the NBA, for one, is marketing. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars to market these NBA players and make them stars. Going back to Jordan, well, you can go back to Magic and Bird. The NBA was about to go bankrupt before Magic and Bird.
Yep.
Jordan helped elevate the league to a whole nother height.
Global.
Because they said we have to spend, it takes money to make money. So we're going to invest these millions of dollars into these guys now. When Magic signed at $30 million, we thought it was something. Now Jai is about to make $50 million.
Yes, crazy money.
But because of that, they understand there's a brand, there's a story within these different athletes, right? And that comes with those millions of dollars saying, hey, we're going to thrust you into this limelight, which you are going to be a star. Right. You're going to be a role model because somebody inspired Ja to want to play basketball.
For sure.
Somebody inspired Ja to want to have braids. His dad don't have braids.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody inspired Ja to want to,
it's all influence.
These different cultures.
Yeah, for sure.
Inspired the tattoos and the body art that these different guys and females have. So there's an inspiration from everywhere.
Yeah, now, and we try to pretend, y'all, in our society especially, we haven't, we idolized entertainers.
Yeah.
It's no different than the reason why
your teacher make $30,000.
Thank you. You stole it. So the people that educate us are not multimillionaires. Usually. It's the people that entertain us that are the elites in society, and you revere and reverence them so much. And another part of the conversation is just because you are good at throwing a football, hitting a ball, shooting a ball in a hoop, whatever the case may be, it does not have anything to do with the development of your character. Yeah. It doesn't always translate, right? And what we have to see for Ja, if I could talk to Ja as a little brother, is this is you can come back from this 100%.
Yes, absolutely.
You can in the grand scheme of things, Ja, I know you're thinking like, yo, I really didn't do something that bad. And there's a part of it where you did it. Mm-hmm. But there's a part of it too where you did, and a part of it, I hope this develops your character. And number two, if you sit down with the CEO of your company, he sat down with the commissioner of the NBA and said, hey, I know that was wrong. I'm not going to do it again. And then comes back 2 months later and has done the same thing. So then it goes back to, again, his development of his morals, his principles, and being a man that honors his word. And when I was talking about the podcast, God's dropped it in our lap. We see, so after the second offense, Ja put out another statement and apologized and said that I'm working on myself or whatever it is. Now they've come back and said, oh, by the way, when I was in the car with my homeboy filming, that was actually, I ain't tell y'all, that was a fake gun, though. That gun wasn't even real.
Toy gun, huh?
So who is running the plays around there? Me and Skis always talk about the playbook. Who was running the plays?
No one smart.
Why, if the gun was fake, why would you apologize? You would have led with that.
And brung the gun to the forefront the first day.
You would have led with that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why wouldn't you have said that in the first place if that was true? You know what I'm saying? So now we in a place where I hope, Jalen Rose, I love you, but I hope they do not let you interview.
No.
That was one of the worst softball interviews we ever seen in our life.
You know what he needs to have? He needs to have, the same way that, how they have the NBA TV has this thing, this moniker when they have they have two people on both sides. They have these conversations.
Right.
Like when you had Magic and Isaiah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. He needs to have one of those open form, real heart-to-heart conversation with Javaris Crittenton. Mm. So Javaris just got out.
Yeah, I was about to say, tell us who Javaris is.
Played at Georgia Tech, played for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Same guy, him and Gilbert Arenas were suspended for like 50 games because they both brandished weapons.
Yep.
Which started playing cards. I think it was playing cards or dominoes. Javaris didn't pay up. They both met up with each other at the arena with guns. Javaris unfortunately did not learn from that event. He later went to jail for, I can't remember if it was murder or shooting someone, but it was gun related.
Yeah.
He just recently got out. So Ja needs to speak to someone who's been in his shoes, whether Javaris was not the star or the mega star that Ja is.
Right.
But he's been in those shoes in terms of the arena, the lifestyle, and understanding that you have the world. The world is your oyster, and it can easily be taken away.
Yeah.
Luckily for Javaris, he's out relatively early.
Right. Yeah.
Because usually when there's gunplay involved, hey, you can be gone. You can be locked up for life, or you can be on death row. Right. So he needs to sit with someone who's been through it and understand that it only takes a split second for your life to be upside down. Right. Another thing that he needs to do, hey man, if you're gonna live this lifestyle, go ahead and write your obituary and write your apology letter to your daughter.
Ooh.
And ask for her forgiveness because her father won't be here to raise her. Because that's you real. Want to indulge in a lifestyle that you should not be indulging in, right? Also, get a better team, right? Not just a team who running these plays saying it's a gun. I mean, it's a fake gun. Yeah. 2 months later, right? You need people to tell you no. Too many of these groups have too many yes men.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody on your team that's going to tell you no and be willing to lose because, all of yes men are there because really you're supporting them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even his
cash cow.
Even his parents are yes
everybody men. Everybody is so yeah.
T, yes man. That's now I don't know how far T has went from a parental standpoint of
now
telling
T is
him
his dad. T is his pops
to shut it down.
Yeah.
But apparently it ain't working, right?
Right.
So apparently he's not being that forceful to telling him that he needs to change, because the cash cow is going to keep
Right.
the register going to keep ringing.
Yep.
You got to have somebody on your team that's willing to lose it. Hey, you can cut me off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing for you to cut me off to save your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't have none of those guys in his corner. You know why? Because he wouldn't have went back on IG.
That's it.
It wouldn't have been back on IG.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you had these people in place,
mm-hmm.
you wouldn't have had a pit stop at the mental institution that's allegedly said that you went to visit.
Right.
You would have spent some real time there.
Mm-hmm.
Would have spent some real time with sitting down with your family and saying, "Hey, let us formulate a plan." Not the PR team.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the people who really love you, not the people that love the check.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And sit down and say,
the people that loved you before you had it.
That wants to love you and don't love the check.
Yeah. And I think too, you hit on something key is family. And again, to Ja, you can reverse this. And I think it's just an important lesson for the kids and, just for men also. And just, again, a part of the reason that Skeens and I started this podcast is to have a platform that was showing that men can sit down and have meaningful dialogue and conversation, right? And so a big part of it, again, as Skeens and I have been reflecting and, thinking about coming out of the pandemic, because we started this when the pandemic began. This is when we shot the first episode of How Did We Get Here? And we thought about, we're talking and reflecting on how many relationships during that time faltered because people were forced to be around their family. And for a lot of people, with the removal of excuses, the removal of being able to go to work, the removal of being able to go to the gym, the removal of being able to go to the store and do these things, people understood that their family dynamic was not as solid as they had thought. Mm-hmm. And John, this is a time for you to solidify your family dynamic. You are in an advantageous position to be able, and I love Slim Thug, y'all. Love Thugger. Does a lot in the community, very insightful with business and different things and building homes for people and all this. But he put out a narrative where, telling Ja he's, don't capitulate to the white man, and people are worried about. And I've heard some people say, man, they acting like it's just about the money. Hold, y'all. When you have the opportunity to make multi-generational type money, mm-hmm. you have to take advantage of that opportunity. And he's not being asked to do something. Skeens, right now, we talked about all the money that Ja can make. And I know some of y'all got ridiculous money. But me and Skeens talked about, if you told us right now you was going to pay us, let's say, $250K a year for the next 10 years, just stay off of IG Live with a pistol, go play back, or whatever your favorite thing to do is, do that every day. Stay off of IG Live and social media with a pistol, and we're going to pay you. Y'all, I do a whole lot more for way less right now. Yeah. And the reason being is that I have to be in position to help to take care of my wife and my children. I have to be in position to do that.
Also, for people that are saying, don't break for the money. Got something for y'all. Right? Don't fight for reparations.
Say more.
Because the reparations is about the money. Mm-hmm. The money that was lost.
Right. Yeah.
The lineage and generational wealth, the opportunity that was there. Right. So when you're saying, when Slim Thug is saying, don't capitulate for them about the money, and other people that's out here, Twitter and, keyboard warring.
Yep.
Talking about, hey, don't break, it's about money. Don't ask for reparations.
Right.
Or if you ask for reparations, ask for a different form of reparation, not a monetary.
Not a monetary one. Yeah.
Yes. Ask for, hey, mental health. Hey, ask for the day off. That's a different form of reparations.
Yeah.
If we're talking about, don't ask for the money, because the money is needed in every aspect of your life. Now, money is not the end all be all, right?
Right.
But money does help a lot of situations,
For sure.
right? That's why we're talking about fighting for your last name, as Scoop say. It talks about, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Scoop.
Or we're talking about, hey, I want to be able to pay for my kids to go to school, go to college, or I want to be debt free. I want my kids to not have to worry about, if I pass, they have to worry about my funeral arrangements.
Yeah, I want to help them to be able to have money to start a business, or to
Put a roof
get
over
when
my
they
head.
get married, or put a down payment on a house, or whatever it is.
There's some form of monetary stand. There's money is going to be involved in some shape, form,
For
or
sure.
fashion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now there's a difference between saying selling out as a person, right?
For sure, right.
Now, for money, but now, if selling out for a person is that you wish to be representing a certain lifestyle, then sell out. And we understand what I'm talking about when we're talking about these alleged lifestyles, when people talking about don't snitch. Because that's a whole nother tangent that I don't feel like going.
Podcast.
Yeah, so that's a whole nother conversation, right? But if you're doing it for the betterment of your community,
for sure,
right? We all should evolve. We should never be the person that we once were. I know I'm not the guy that I once was a long time ago, because hey, man, God has worked on me quite a bit.
Phew,
But
that is also another podcast.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But the money, it shouldn't really just be about the money when we're talking about self-improvement. The money has nothing. Self-improvement, you should be a beacon of hope and light, not just for the people that don't know you, but for your family and in your kids and people within your circle, your household.
Sure. Yep.
We should strive to be a better person.
Yeah.
Now the money is a bonus, right?
For sure.
But as we talked about, there are certain people that we have uplifted, and they have these millions of dollars because they have a special skill. They don't mean they're a special person.
Yeah,
they have a special skill that was financially that
somebody can monetize.
Yes.
Yeah, it goes back to the money.
Don't mean R. Kelly, special skill,
very
writer.
Special skills.
No, it's we shouldn't say his name. He's a great writer, special skill. But guess where he is? Locked up.
Right.
Not a special person.
Right. And here's the thing though, y'all, is that all of us can relate in some way or another. You can be developed and perfected in one thing, and have a struggle over here that's off the chain.
Look at Kanye.
You understand?
This man walking around. I saw a picture of him today. He got these BBL tights, and then he got these shoulder pads. Like
yeah.
Got my shown off shoulder pads. Then the chick that he with, she got the little dress look like foreskin.
Right.
Great designer.
Right.
Not all the way there.
Yeah, not perfected in some things for sure.
So we all have we all have been blessed with a special something.
Yeah, for sure.
Now,
for sure.
Now, one is about us tapping into it, and the tap into that is maybe it will not bring you the monetary gain that you're looking for, but it's going to bring you some form of happiness, or you can be an inspiration to somebody else that may need this, that may need to lean on that skill that you have.
And let me piggyback off of that, because what Skeens is talking about, I don't know Ja Morant, but I would assume he has the story that many professional athletes have, where they wanted to play sports from a child. So another opportunity that he's been afforded is that he is in a position to be elite, and he paid as an elite in the field of professional sports as a basketball player. He's there. And you just have so talking about finding that thing, and the goal we all want is to do what we love and to be paid well for it. We all, that's what we all want. Ja, you're there. You are there. You there, little bro. You have ascended to that place. And you just have some minor adjustments, midterm corrections that you need to make, and tap into your family. Tap into your family. I want you to have fun with your friends. You know, Skeens and I did it when we were listening to the music and to Big and the Tupac and Jay and whoever else we was listening to. 50. I mean, you know, all this kind of stuff. The the thing was though is that we weren't mimicking and trying to do certain things that was in the music. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's just one of the corrections that you need to make. But let's have a bigger conversation, Skeens, just as men. And I was at we had a little function at church on Sunday where they do a members appreciation, and you know, we go in, do praise and worship a little bit, pray, and then we, you know, the church had, you know, food and games for the kids and funnel cakes and snow cones and corn dogs and, you know, just all that stuff. And I was reflecting back, and I've talked with y'all about this before, and Skeens and I have talked about it. But I met this guy. Uh, like I said, he's gonna be on the pod very, very soon. Brother named Troy, and he's from Nashville, Tennessee. And I had seen him before, y'all. And the funny part of the story is that, you know, he had a nice, you know, a necklace on and a nice piece on it. And Trey saw him at church one time, and that caught his eye. And y'all, as things have grown, Trey just turned 10, y'all, and this joker is asking me for shoes and all this. He's into this stuff now and trying to get crazy sneakers and all. I'm like, dude, have you lost your mind? But anyway, so I told dude, I'm like, yo, my son saw you, your chain caught his eye. And I told him, when I saw you, I was like, I have to talk to him. And we sat there and talked 30, 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. But in that time, we were building in that few moments. And he really, I mean, he opened up to me like we had known each other for years. And he opened up and shared with me things that he's been through in his life and redemption and things of that nature. And he has an excellent story for young men like Ja. And that's what we want to have him come on this platform and do. But as I ramble, what I was sharing with him is how we always have the conversation of frame of reference. And while I may have listened to certain things, and this is for y'all, I may have listened to certain music for entertainment and different things of that nature, but my frame of reference that I had in my real life was my father, Jeffrey Lewis Carter Sr., that was in the military for 20 years, in place and functioning, doing all the things, going fishing, present, sacrificing. That dude that never want a new whip or no, you know how popular. He always drove a hoopty. He wasn't no dude that was buying a lot of clothes during that. It was for the family. And so my frame of reference is the same, right? And then I looked at my the blessing of the men that I have met in life and at church and ministers and different people that have poured into me. That was the mold and model that I saw around me. So that's all I knew. Yeah. That's all I knew. And I didn't have to look to the street life to find men that were successful. They were right there at arm's reach that I can talk to and build with, and look at how they built their business and look at how they were with their wives and look at how they were with their children. Right. Yeah. So Ja, it's the same thing. Look at the frame of reference, the positive frame of reference that you have of people that were around you. I hope that your father is the number one frame of reference that you have. And I hope that you have other examples. Oh, by the way, because you have a daughter, you got to look at the frame of reference that you're providing for her. How do you interact with her mama? How does she see you interacting with her? What is she seeing that you're doing? I think she's still relatively young, but as she grows older, especially in this social media environment, there's so much stuff that she can look at and tap into and see that you're doing.
And the kids soak up everything.
Everything. You know, we try to monitor, but Jason is on the tap. This joker know how to do all this stuff. I'm like, how do you know how to do this stuff on here? Yeah. How do you even know? You're 4 years old. How do you know how to do this? How do you know? How do you know? Yeah. But so that again, this is not to tear the brother down. Hey, and he's getting ready to be 4. Not I said the wrong age of the boy. I'm like, what? That boy ain't 4.
Hey, bro. When you from certain environments, right? You know what comes with. You seen that? You know, Jay-Z has a song talking about the allure of the game. So when you come from certain environments, you know how this can play out. Now, do I want to be right? Do we want to be right? Absolutely no. But have this movie been played multiple times?
I know how this movie ends, but still I play. The starring rolling whole Vito's way.
Absolutely.
It's just a life.
Seen this movie many, many, many times over. Different actor, different title.
Yep.
Same movie. Right.
Hey, you know we always tell that Chris Rock joke. How are there any new crackheads?
Absolutely.
How? We've seen this.
But now, side note, right? We talking about personal. We talking about growth.
Okay.
Personal growth.
Let's talk about it.
I seen the song, the video, Diddy, Act Bad. Diddy like what, 55, something like that?
Something like that.
Smooth.
That's the new one that just dropped, right? Yeah.
Right. And he's dating, well, I don't know what they call themselves. You know, we're in the era of the no labels.
Yep.
Whatever the city girl.
What's the girl? Young Miami?
Whatever.
Ain't that her name? Young Miami?
One of them.
Yeah.
Right? That she's younger than some of his kids. Right. But
right.
There's no age shaming.
Right.
But of the personal growth and development, when do we say when?
Puff is 53.
Okay. I know he's in he's
in his
50s.
Yeah.
And I know he's probably twice our age.
Yeah, just about.
But once again, no age shaming.
Yep.
But in terms of personal growth,
okay,
right? When do we say when?
When is enough?
Yeah. So because now I know that there's an artistry, you know, of Act Bad. You know, he has his alcohol companies. You know, he's an entertainer.
Yep.
But when does the message change?
I agree.
Right?
When does the message change?
So, for example, Jay had 444.
Yep.
To me, probably his best work of art.
Yep. The album.
Album.
Yeah.
Reasonable Doubt. Now, I love a lot of the others, but in terms of from a storytelling and the message that's provided within those body of works,
right?
As Jay aged and his finance changed and so on and so forth.
Let's talk about the arc, though. Let's talk about the arc.
A different I would think, you know, that you would want a different message as you grow.
Right.
For
sure.
As we age, because you know,
well, Schemes, for those that's not, again, we talking as, you know, avid Jay-Z fans. Reasonable Doubt is what?
His first album.
And what is the content of Reasonable Doubt?
Reasonable Doubt was the story of the hustler.
The ABCs of it.
It is basically the audio version of The Wire.
Right. Yeah.
If we're talking about the understanding of the integral inner workings of that lifestyle. Right. And then doing it at a high level. Right. So it's
444
is on the opposite end when he understands the arc of, hey, I made a lot of stupid decisions. I am not that young man that I used to know.
Right.
I'm a different guy. I'm a family man. I'm making business decisions that I wouldn't necessarily have made when I was younger, when I was just throwing away my finance, even though he kept bringing in a ton of money.
Yeah.
Legally, illegally, no matter how you look at it. Right. Yeah. But he's looking at legacy, talking to how his acceptance of his mother's lifestyle, understanding of being a role model to his kids and his community, and
even getting into the intricacies of a marriage that he had to rebuild.
So
yeah,
when does the enough is enough? Like when do we change? Like as people. Now, I'm not saying you got. Hey, I was in the club.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, we all had our time.
Yeah. So, but hey, when do we walk out the club?
Right.
You know, and I know there are some women that who ask that question to some men. Hey, when you gonna stay out the club for last call?
Right.
And vice versa.
Absolutely.
We know some women who was married and been in the club Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometime on Tuesdays. But that's a whole nother conversation.
A whole nother podcast.
Yeah. These are true. This is real stories. True events. But no, and I was listening to the song. One, I don't care for it, but I know there's a market for it.
For sure.
Right. And plus, if it was somebody other than Puff, somebody else put their song out, you would call it trash.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But the messaging of when you become a certain person at a certain age, right? I, I would have preferred him giving different lessons.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly would have preferred someone younger than him, who fits that age demographic. Mm-hmm. Someone younger than him, and even Fab being in that song, because that's a lifestyle for the younger, Mm-hmm. Now, not saying that you can't still have fun as you age, as Jay said, 40 was a new 30, whatever that junk was on that one song. But we should be a point, as you talk about, a point of reference, or be more mature. And I know we want to relate to the younger kids, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't have to be who you are to relate to you, right?
Right.
Nor if you are a kid, you don't want to see me living the same way you living,
right?
And then me trying to give you advice, like, man, you get out, you talking the same chick I'm talking to, you doing what I'm doing.
An old man and a young man shouldn't have the same.
We shouldn't be doing the same things, right? Now, I say now, as with youth, I mean, with maturity, hey, I'm your point of reference. I can tell you how this is gonna go. Hey, when you do these things, this, and this. These are goods and the bads of every decision, because I've been in your shoes. I've seen it all, done it all. As they say, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
So there's nothing.
Hit him with the Ving Rams. I've seen it all and done it all to the full.
So there's no scheme that or that you can bring up that I have not had.
What is that? Any
dealing, but at the same time, I should be able to give you guidance because I have did it and I have understood on the other side.
What's that quote that we were I think I saw Questlove or somebody quoted it. I can't remember who it was. I might be, but it was talking about basically there's a balance in the knowledge that a young man presents to an older man and an older man presents to the young man.
Yeah.
You need both of those. You really do. We're talking about balance. You need both of those, but you would think
young men learn from older men and young men keep older men keep young, and young men gain wisdom from older men.
Something like that, right? So,
by me being there, doing that and evolving, I can teach you how to maneuver as you're growing. Because unfortunately, some of the uncomfortable situations are you're going to outgrow some of your friends, your family members, some of the people that you're in a relationship, whether whether it is an intimate relationship, business wise, or other.
Yeah,
there's going to be some uncomfortable growth that's going to take place within you.
Yeah,
that you need to know how to navigate.
Yeah.
And if there's no one to help walk you through and guide you through those situations, you may be stuck being someone that you wasn't meant to be any longer. Right? So you can't grow out of this shell. You know, you got the butterfly and the cocoon.
Yeah.
So if that butterfly didn't go through the necessary steps, still would have been a moth.
Yep.
I mean, he never would have grown to be this butterfly and to fly and live. You go from crawling on the ground to having the ability to fly.
Yeah.
You can never take flight if you didn't go through that metamorphosis of change.
Right.
But you may need someone to help guide you through that alteration of your life.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anyone who's been there and can help you, but instead I'm keeping, because even with my age, I'm still living and being just as you are. As Jay said, still nigga.
Right. Yeah.
You want someone to help you evolve, and like, once again, not saying you're selling out or losing who the essence, the fiber of who you are.
Yeah.
But a lot of us are meant for more. Really, all of us are meant for more. It just depends on that. More does not is not equal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, as I say, everyone deserves an opportunity.
For sure.
everyone won't hit the equal, won't gain equal growth.
For sure. And I mean, you perfectly tied that back around is that young men, old men, Puff Daddy. And what we're showing you guys is that all of us, young and old, we got midterm corrections to make. And there's parts of us, like we talked about, that we have to develop. There's parts of us where we have to grow into that thing that we're supposed to be. You know what I mean? And a part of what you're talking about, Schemes, when you give that example of, the butterfly and, growing into who you need to be. I was telling the guy, Troy, one of my favorite stories is we were at that men's conference that year, years ago. Bishop Holcomb was leading this men's conference. We were in Copper's Cove. And he gave the example of, like you said, it's no greater or less when we're looking at it in the eyes of the kingdom. He's talking about all of us have a certain level of influence, a certain spirit of influence. He was like, me being a bishop and a pastor for years, my span or sphere or, reach, it goes farther, but it's no greater than you, that at your level, you may be leading 2 or 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is. But here's the question where it hit me between the eyes. What have you been doing with that influence? And I had to admit and reflect on the ways that I had squandered the influence that I had.
Yeah.
In many ways, I had squandered it. I had not used it for the right thing. And when we don't live up to our potential, we're squandering those things that we're supposed to be able to. Of course, we got to be whole for ourselves first, but it's also about what we are giving to others. Who are we for? We're our families. Who are we for? The community. And we cannot squander that. And you have elders that you can lean on to get the game, to get the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding of how you should be moving.
Yeah.
I always mess with my little sister and the teenagers I deal with at church. I said, you're a teenager, so you're an idiot. You don't know anything. You're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? That's an idiot move. Haven, don't be mad. I'm telling the story because she's trying to learn how to drive. My sister is getting ready to be 15 this month in a few days. And she's starting to try to, drive a little bit. We went to a little area in their neighborhood and she's like, can I drive? I'm like, all right, sure. So we talking through it and da-da. And she's like, you so much more calm than mom and dad. I'm like, yeah, girl, da-da-da-da-da. So she's like, you think I'm ready for a permit yet? I said, absolutely not. No, you're not. But she told me that I think at school, one of their older friends drives. And for some reason, they decided that the girl was driving slow, but her and her friend decided to sit on like the trunk of the car while the chick is driving. I said, you see what I'm talking about? This is why I tell you, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. That's one of the dumbest stories I ever heard in my life. Yeah. But it's all good. It's a part of the maturation process. And at the end of the day, we all have something to mature in, something to grow in, something to be better in, something that we can go back to the drawing board and say, I could have did that better, whether it's in relationships, business, with our children, with our families, whatever it is. And that's something that I strive to do. I think about so many things, man, especially as we ascend to chapter 40, man. You just start reflecting on things that you did squander. And, we're at a position where we want to make a space where we could talk about these things like this and we can empower each other and encourage each other. Where we at? We almost at an hour. So,
and also,
go ahead.
Understand that growth never stops.
Mm-hmm.
The clock is forever. The clock is always ticking.
Forever.
So understand that none of us will ever really reach that highest level.
Oh yeah, you never perfected. No.
So, and that information can come from a multitude of places.
Mm-hmm.
So that who you think may be the correct role model or guide for you may not be that person.
Right.
As I was once told before, the difference between a lot of us and a homeless person is one paycheck.
One paycheck, one decision.
So that means don't look down on someone else because that person may have the game to keep you employed.
Yeah.
because that person may have squandered those opportunities because they were so involved in into self that now that person is homeless or have been completely disconnected from his family, his or her family, because they stood in their own way.
Yeah. And two things, talking about that, we're about to close out, y'all, because we want to just bombard y'all, but we missed y'all so much. But they talk about they have a thing online, y'all, where, and again, I know some of y'all balling out of control. We just regular folk over here. We doing all right, middle class folk, but they were showing how a person that's making $500,000 a year can still be living check to check. If you haven't been developed and you're squandering the resources, talking about how we're talking about squandering the resources. And if you don't check yourself and balance yourself, shout out to my big bro Eric Young. It's all about balance. If you don't balance yourself, you can be a multimillionaire and be living check to check if you don't balance yourself. But as we close out, I wanted to distill this from and I was telling Skeens about it. I saw Ryan Clark doing this. Shout out to the Pivot Podcast, him and Channing, Fred Taylor. And I always want to check in. We want to start doing our check-ins. And I think the questions were, it's really the same thing, but are you good? Are you okay? And do you need anything from me? So I posed those questions to my cousin. He's going to ask me the same. Are you good? Are you okay? Do you need anything from me?
I'm blessed.
Yes.
I'm here. A lot of situations I cannot be here.
For sure.
But I'm here.
Yeah.
Hey, life is great. What about yourself?
I'm good. I'm okay. My family's out of town.
So you ain't really that good.
you know, a lot of people like, man, I know you loving that. I'm like, dude, I'm so tapped in with my doggone family, man. I was telling my wife, man, I said, baby girl, y'all, because them rascals, they up at my wife's grandma's house, them jokers, sleeping and everything just fine. But, when she ain't there, it throws me off. And I already have this thing in me where my clock is off, where it's in the middle of the night, is where we like, me and Skeen just texting each other in the middle of the night and all that kind of stuff. But no, they'll be back in a few days, man, and I feel like I'm back in homeostasis. But no, man, life is good. It really is, man. We've been blessed, man. I thank God daily for my family, for the unity that we have, and our, Skeens and I've been blessed to have a very diverse, very wide-reaching family. And talking about things that happened over the pandemic, things was very close to home, which was a challenge for me. That was a challenge. It was a lot of things that were just closer and closer and closer to home. And still, rest in peace to our uncle, Bud.
Yeah.
It was just very, he passed, and, just things were very, very close. And like I said, y'all, as I got to chapter 40, you just start to, I talked to my big brother about it, and I was like, man, we depending on how many more years we got, we at midlife. You know what I'm saying? We really are. And you start to look at your children, and you're you're getting closer to that other side of mortality. And I'd be like, how dope would it be if you could ask one of your relatives that has transitioned, hey, what is it like? We don't have a frame, talking about frame of reference, we don't have one.
Yeah.
And what that can do is put you in a space where you just be like, and again, y'all, when you get 40, you have things happening. Man, what's this? I ain't never felt that before. What is that? So you like, Lord, what is that? 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 And I talked to my doctor, and he's like, yo, when you get to 40, man, you start to feel things. And he said he started to see, like, kind of every decade, your body does a new set of things every decade. Me and him like the same age. So I think what I had to work on and am working on during this time is not so much of dwelling on that stuff. I know it's a part of the human journey, but it's to be present. And I know that's cliche and a lot of people say it, but I think it's a lesson that has to be learned, is to be present in the moment. And it's in those things, you guys, with my family being close here, literally right in the same city. In-laws 5 minutes this way, parents 5 minutes that way. And I talked to Trey, y'all, about, dude, do you know how blessed you are to have both sets of your grandparents in the same city within 5 minutes of you? That's a blessing, man. I didn't grow up with that blessing, being out of country, you know what I mean? And grandmothers, our shared grandmother passing early on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unfortunately, Skeens had years with her to know her a certain way that I did not have the blessing to have. I know she loved me. My mom told me when she would call me when I was a little kid. I can't remember it though, but and that's a part of the reason my parents moved back, because of the family dynamic, and it's so important to us. I was talking to my little sister when we were driving, and I was just she was sharing some things with me about her friends and things of that nature and how their home life is. And I said, you take for granted that the home life you have for many people is not common.
Absolutely.
It's not common. We were just down in San Antonio celebrating nephew Eli graduated. You know what I'm saying? And seeing the kids and being around all the brothers. And we were sharing with another gentleman's wife that Kuma was the big brother to everybody. You know what I'm saying? We got essentially 20 years of solid friendship between all of us men. No fractures. Really, no real arguments in 20 years.
Yeah.
No real fallout. No nothing. Just been rocking with each other. So, man, am I good? Yeah, I'm blessed. Relationship is good. Still developing and working, always with my wife and everything. But for the most part, y'all, and I'm just freestyling now. It's peaceful.
Am I?
It's peaceful, man. It's peaceful. And we did a lot of the investments and went through a lot of stuff, y'all. A lot of stuff, a lot. Talked to my pops. He was like, Jay, we went through a lot of stuff. Shout out to them. They've been married since 1979, 17 to 18 years old. But to see my pops, healthy, my mom healthy and in shape, to be able, the simple things, y'all, to be able to drive over to my mom's house, Skeens and I, to be able to go over there and watch a movie, eat some food. It's those type of things, y'all. It's those type of things, Ja. Those are the important things. Yeah, when you go back and look at things in life, it is not gonna matter if you was on the internet flashing guns and listening to NBA Youngboy. I know it's a part of youth and all that stuff and learning, job, but hopefully you can learn the lesson early that the biggest investment that you go have in life is family. I was messing with your mom on the phone the other day. She have us roll because I was messing with, we was talking about something. She got this funny shit when she gets real sleepy. And she said she tell my mom, girl, I'm gonna hit that bed, I'm gonna fall asleep in midair. That's hilarious to me how tired she said she be. But it's family, man. It's family. And we want to build this family with y'all. And that's why we want to tap in with so many of y'all. We know that they're like King Kai, our unofficially official third co-host, even though he cheating on the Chief Suits podcast. AKA, it's all love, though. We love that podcast, though.
Absolutely.
We do. Dope podcast. But he always talked about dope people we know in real life. There's so many of y'all. There's so many. So we want to tap in. We want to continue to extend the family. And we want to continue to build the legacy in our immediate family. We want to build a legacy with y'all. And with all that said, this has been another episode, return of How Did We Get Here? I'm your host, Jay Carter, and the man that is always heard and never will, ever will be seen, Skeens.
Yes, sir. It should stay that way.
And we'll holler at y'all next time, y'all. Peace. Love y'all.